When Alexander the Great arrived here in 330 BC, Persepolis was perhaps the richest city of the ancient world. And when he left, after only 4 months, it was a ruin whose spot would be known for generations only as the place of the 40 columns. There are 500 kilometers from Esfahan to Shiraz. To save time and money, we take the night bus. It's the greatest luxury I have ever received in exchange for €5 per person.
Oh, the dinner arrived.
Yeah.
Cucumber. What are those?
This one.
Beds.
A banana. Interesting.
Very nice 6-hour ride. No,
Yeah, the best is if you cannot sleep. It's fantastic.
in the bus.
Yeah.
Why? I slept very well.
Yeah, and I saw also 2 very, very nice movies. So I will tell you everything. What you lost.
From the bus we rush towards Persepolis, the place I've wanted to visit since I was a child. We have Ferdos as a guide, a perfect choice. It's very hot under the blazing sun and the temperature is over 40 degrees centigrade.
Chestia asta de 10 metri înălțime din spatele nostru este efectiv fundamentul pe care s-a construit orașul.
Although the Persian Empire already had 3 alternative capitals, Babylon, Susa and Ecbatana, in 518 BC, Darius the Great built Persepolis as a modern city which impressed through its luxury and opulence.
I'm Xerxes, the son of Darius the Great from Achaemenian family. I ordered to build this gate of all nations in parcel land, and before me my father was built a lot of palaces.
Exactly how nowadays at the touristical sites the inscriptions are in English, in German, in French and so on and so forth. Here the inscriptions at the Gate of All Nations were in ancient Persian, in Babylonian and in Elamite.
Alexander the Great began his war against the Persians in 334 BC. After 4 years of fights and victories from Issus to Gaugamela, he reached the gates of the city, whom the ancient Western world did not even know existed. Darius III had already fled, without taking the treasures. The turncoat treasurer Tiridate opened the gates of the city to Alexander, asking for mercy. But the Greeks looted the city, killing everything their hearts desired. Legend has it that the royal treasury has held 2,500 tons of gold, and it had taken thousands of mules and camels to carry it away from here.
Deci oamenii sunt foarte inventivi. În antichitate încă s-au crăpat bucata asta de piatră și au înlocuit-o și au lipit-o, adică au lipit-o.
Au prins-o cu 2 nituri de metal.
Da, cu metal. Aici și aici. Acum se vede.
Da, și în Evul Mediu au avut nevoie de metal și de unde să le iei, de ce să nu le ia de la Persepolis? Pac, au luat tot ce au găsit metal și au făcut gloanțe.
Everything was destroyed except for the royal palace. But by the end of the 4-month period Alexander spent here, the palace was also burnt down, the reason remaining one of the great mysteries of the ancient world. It was either an act of revenge against Persians for the burning of the Acropolis of Athens, or as a consequence of a speech the prostitute Thais made during a drinking party. In 1971, Iran's last Shah, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, organized a grand event here, the 2500-year celebration of the Persian Empire. Numerous members of royal families and heads of state were present and were seated into the stands we can see today.
So those were the seats for the celebrities in 1971.
The tombs of Artaxerxes II and III are believed to be above the ruins, as well as of Darius III, who was eventually killed by a rival, brought here and buried at Alexander the Great's command like a real king.
It's so cold here, guys, that my GoPro turned itself off. Overheating, beep, beep, dark. So if you come here, don't forget your gloves and your hat, because you're gonna freeze.
Located 12 kilometers northwest of Persepolis is Necropolis, the place where we find other royal tombs from the Achaemenid dynasty. In addition to the imposing tomb that most certainly belonged to Darius I, the other three belong to Darius II, Xerxes I, and Artaxerxes I. The rock reliefs from the Sassanid period are really impressive, especially the one that shows King Shapur I on a horseback humiliating the Roman emperors Valerian and Philip the Arab. Those passionate about ancient mysteries will be ecstatic at the sight of Kabaya Zartosh, the cube of Zoroaster, but until the historians discover the true role of this monument, we can only admire the unusual Sasanian calligraphy. The sun burns mercilessly, so a glass of juice, as strange as it might look, is worth its weight in gold. Wait, does this really have gold in it, or...? We get back to Shiraz, the cultural and artistic capital of Iran. It's the country's third largest city, and it is located at the foot of the Zagros Mountains at an altitude of 1500 meters.
So guys, if you come here, you must know that between 12 and 6 o'clock, you cannot be on the street.
The city is dead, and between 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. they're having the siesta, like in Spain.
It's very, very hot, so...
Every single store closes and you've got nothing to do. But in the evening, everybody's on the street.
Party!
Streets are crowded, party, everybody's drinking, having fun.
Drinking juice, for sure.
Juice, no alcohol. But you won't expect something like that in an Islamic country.
We've seen even fewer tourists here than in Tehran and Esfahan, and the locals are even more interested in meeting the foreigners who venture here.
You know Romania?
Yes.
Because I like very much your country and the people from here. You're so nice. You're so friendly.
Guys, you didn't ask the right person if you can speak, because he speaks a lot, so...
Everybody wants to take photos with us. They are so friendly, the people around here. Wait a second.
Even if it's forbidden alcohol, that doesn't mean that they don't drink.
Yeah, especially for the tourists, it's like semi-legal to get a beer, but you have to ask the guides for that beer. And they've got a very good beer with 4 or with 8% alcohol.
A lot.
What you can buy on the streets is non-alcoholic beer with a lot of fruit flavors.
The Shiraz Bazaar is, how shall I put it, epic.
Tocmai am mâncat pistic de la ei. Are un gust foarte interesant, nu e ca și pisticul nostru, e așa mai acru cumva.
Are we really in Iran?
No, I don't think so.
The last thing I was expecting was a tablet with a menu. Look how cheap it is. 50 cents a salad. That's what I called a homemade bread.
It's hot. Oh. Good.
What? Like less than 8 euros. Cool.
I told you that it's a good restaurant.
A magnet for tourists is Nasir al-Mulk, also dubbed as the Pink Mosque, due to the reddish stones used in the construction of this place of worship, as well as from the shades of pink that emerge when the morning sun rays are filtered through the dazzling stained glass windows of the prayer hall. We can honestly say that this is the most interesting mosque we've ever visited. It's unlike the other mosques and quite pink. In Iran, there's a great distance between cities, making domestic flights very practical. It's quite hard to book online, but tickets bought at the airport on the spot are cheap, so we travel 1,000 kilometers to the capital by plane. In Tehran, we only have a few hours until the bus departs for Iraq. Having had too much Persian food, which was absolutely delicious, Alecsandra creates some sort of hamburgers with Coca-Cola. Oh boy, the decadent American influence.
I think we're in the wrong country. It's like we're in the USA. Oh wait, we're not. It's written in Farsi.
We have a long day and night trip to the Iraqi Kurdistan ahead of us.
This was our adventure in Iran, folks. We're in a little bus station in Tehran and we're taking the bus to Iraqi Kurdistan. Alexandra's also waving at you. And until next time, see you soon. And don't forget to subscribe